Welcome to the official podcast of Joey Song. You know, at Joey Song, we have one mission: raise as much money as we can so that research into finding treatments and cures for epilepsy can get the funding it needs. We would love your support. If you can subscribe and leave a review of this podcast, it will help more than you could ever know. If you have a couple extra mouse clicks left in you, go to YouTube and our YouTube channel, Joey Song, and subscribe. There. In less than 2 minutes, with a couple of mouse clicks, you will have made it easier for others to find us and help spread the word. Now, if you want to do a bit more, head over to joeysong.org, consider buying a show ticket or some merch, or even making a donation. Thanks. You know, we'll beat this disease, and together we'll have some fun doing it as well. Join us. All right, let's do this. Hey, everybody, we are back. It's the Joey Song podcast, and my guest today, boy, I could take about 20 minutes to explain the history. Believe it or not, even though this year's going to be her first time at Joey Song, she was one of the first artists to join us at Joey Song when she contributed her demo of All Thumbs to our first set of CDs back in 2010. Do you remember any of that?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember interacting with you and Joey Song, but I don't remember the All Thumbs demo.
So wow. It's the wonderful Tracy Bonham with us today. Yeah. So when we were putting together that first set of CDs, which is how Joey Song started, we originally weren't going to do these silly concerts that we do. It was going to be these CDs. And of course, me being the great businessman that I am, I did it right at the time when the world decided to stop paying for music altogether and never buy another CD again. But yes, you very kindly donated the demo version of All Thumbs.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad I did. I'm so glad I did.
And so life dragged us apart, as it is wont to do. Mm-hmm. And then last summer, I was seeing our mutual friend Kay Hanley and Cleo at Summerfest. Mm-hmm. And you were following them. And Kay was not feeling well, so we were backstage, and she was like pointing me towards you.
Oh, talk to her. I can't talk.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. And it took us about 8 seconds for you to say, yes, I'd love to be a part of the concert.
Exactly.
So
I really just wanted one of those hoodie sweatshirts.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were wearing it.
Back there, that's a jean jacket.
Oh.
We gave all the artists jean jackets last year with monogram. Oh, yeah. It's very posh. Extremely posh.
Looks
extremely.
Amazing.
So let's get some to basics. Physically, where are you today?
Today I'm in Brooklyn, Windsor Terrace, Brooklyn.
Really? Is that home?
Yes, it is.
It is. But you're originally from Oregon.
I am originally from... Did you almost say Oregon?
Well, see, here's the problem. In Wisconsin, we have an Oregon, which is just outside of Madison, and it's Oregon.
Do you spell it like Oregon?
Exactly the same way, but it's got that Midwest pronunciation with long vowels, don't you know?
Yeah, okay.
I almost did, but you're from Eugene originally, if I know correctly.
You are absolutely correct.
Yeah, I love it out there. It's so beautiful out there. That is just...
It really is.
God's country. But how long have you been in Brooklyn?
Wow. I moved to Brooklyn in 1999. I spent a brief time going back to LA, trying again because I had gone to college in LA from 2001 to 2004 or something. But once Brooklyn is in your blood, you can't leave.
So do you consider yourself a New Yorker?
I think maybe I'm a proud New Yorker.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I won't have the accent. I won't.
Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be tough to do. You got a country between you from where you grew up and where you are now.
And I want to hold on to my roots. I'm so proud of being a West Coast girl, and I'm so proud of being from Eugene, Oregon. So
Yeah, there is just for the folks tuning in, before we started recording, Tracy and I were talking politics, and you guys out there in Oregon still have your act together. We here in what used to be a liberal bastion, we brought
Mhm.
you Gaylord Nelson and Bob Kastenmeyer and all these liberal icons, and now we teeter back and forth, but
Oh.
you guys have stayed strong and stayed the course out there.
Well, I mean, again, the Oregon is an interesting state, though, because yeah, you're right, but it's so spread out, and there's the pockets, and once you go outside of the pocket, it's visually, naturally so beautiful. But I don't stop for gas.
Well, I have a lot of our Joey song community lives in Portland, right? The
Oh
Port
yeah.
Kill the Man guys and Scott McCoy from Minus Five and
Mm,
Decemberists and all of those folks. It's
yeah.
beautiful. I have been and love it every time I'm out there. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so let's talk a little bit about. I always need to make sure that I toot horns for people that I know don't toot their own. Two-time Grammy nominee Tracy Bonham. What was that like coming out of the chute?
Well, yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I mean, it catapulted me. I mean, my life back then for those few years, it was just like, "What? I'm everywhere." It was kind of freaky. I was insecure. I didn't like waiting in line at Starbucks because I was like, "Why am I waiting in line? Someone talk to me." Played with my ego a little bit. But I knew, like, I was just thinking about this, the memory of being at the Grammys, was really incredible, and I got to meet some heroes, and sit next to people that I'd, like, idolized for so long. However, when I didn't win and Sheryl Crow won there was one Grammy, I think it was for the female performance.
Whatever happened to her?
Yeah, whatever happened to her, right?
Yeah,
Where did she go? No,
yeah.
I knew it was this feeling. I guess I'd already seen the writing on the wall leading up to this because things were shifting at my record. I was like, well, I get, like, if I had won, I think my trajectory would have been different. But I knew since I didn't win, I was like, I kind of got depressed that night. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to get as much attention from the label. Things are going to change. And they did.
It's funny. I've had several of these interviews as we're stacking them up leading up to the thing. But when I talk to people, the role that the labels used to play in those days was so influential and so like 180 from where it is today, right? Now, I'm sure at the top, all those people we call by one name, Bruce and Rihanna and Bruno and all those people, I'm sure life is swell with the label, but it's completely flipped on its ear. But the labels made made or broke, make or break, whatever the right English is on that, careers. And it didn't take long for them to do this if it didn't kind of go. It's really amazing. It was, yeah. And if you had a good relationship with your label, yeah, but that's not how things turned out for you.
I knew I kind of entered the game, right before things were changing, and people jumping ship and corporate mergers and big companies overtaking. So I got right in there, and then it all just like blew apart.
How did you know when it was really going south? What were some of the
Mm.
warning signs for you as an artist?
Okay. Well, when I signed to Island Records, it was closer to like 1994. And they were in this cool office where they were all sitting on, I remember the chairs they had. They were like some funky chairs, I can't remember. And they were all having water gun fights, and it was so fun. And I was like, wow, this is like a family, and it's a boutique. And then, it had like, Bob Marley, U2, PJ Harvey, William S. Burroughs. I was like, okay, this sounds like my kind. Then when it was bought by dun dun dun, Island Records was bought by, I guess it was Universal, and then they moved to the worldwide whatever building. And that felt different. Then I went to visit, and it was like, check in at the desk, um and then literally after my first single, the second single, the video was delayed, and I knew, like, the woman who was the video director was like on drugs, and she was MIA. And I knew that timing was everything back then. It was like, if you have a hit, you got to get right in there. There was a delay. And then my A&R people who are supposed to be your, cheerleaders, they left and went to another record label. So I was like, okay, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, that whole uh, don't let the momentum die stuff, kind of stuff. A real lifelong friend of mine and a good guy, his name is Justin Curry. He's in a band called Delamitri, and they had a big hit with Roll to Me, and the same thing. The record company, they rushed to put out that follow up, and
Mhm.
yeah, to quote Disney, it's a tale as old as time, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But with that, although not that any of us wouldn't like to have fame and money and all that comes with it, that gave you a lot more freedom as you were recording. I was spending my time doing my research.
Uh,
You've done a lot of stuff with just website only stuff and digital only releases. Talk about that.
uh-huh. Well, let's see. When I asked to be dropped after my second album dropped from Island, because it was now Island Def Jam. So I was like, I gotta go on. God. And then what happened? Did I go on tour with, I think I went on tour with Blue Man Group, and they took me under their wing. Not only were they like putting me on the tour bus with my band, they're paying for everything, but we'd stay at like the Four Seasons. This is when they had a lot of money. And I would tour around, and I had made this EP called the BEP. And first of all, they had me as an opening act in these huge arenas, which musically did not make any sense at all. But I'd come back out during their shows, so there was the through line there. I got to sell a bunch of CDs in the lobby, and I made all this money. And I didn't even have management, I didn't have radio, I didn't have anything. But this was my first taste of like real independent, artists, like direct to fans, shaking hands and signing. And it was a real humble pie situation too, but I learned, yeah, and even just knowing like the despair, like the numbers of like my first, the sales for my first, and then the second was so drastic, and then selling independently is embarrassingly low. But God, things change so rapidly that selling those, I can't remember how many EPs I had sold with Blue Man Group, but it was actually a success story. So confusing, but I kind of learned the ropes. And then after that, I would just decide whether I'd want to go with a small label who would, have a team to help out, or if I wanted to self-release over time. I did more self-releasing.
Is there some artistic freedom that comes with that?
Absolutely. And that's something, yeah, that I'm now used to it. So recently, when I put out this last album in June, I was about to sign to a little label, and they were going to give me some money. But when they put the contract in front of me, it just felt like the old days, where it was like they wanted a percentage and a control and this and that. And I was like, okay, it's not worth it. I can't.
And I don't even know what I used to be. So I'm a recovering LP and CD addict, right? It just I recently donated all my CDs to the library, almost all, and all
Wow.
that other stuff. I can't tell you. So, and this is going to be a rambling thing, but I promise, like Miles Davis, I will find the melody at the end of this speech. Um, there used to be that joy of thumbing through bins, right?
Yeah.
And discovering stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what, to me, now a label would do, is they would get you into the records, but people don't even discover you that way anymore. So I guess that's my confusion, as I'm saying it sounds like you made the right choice, because I don't even know, and maybe I've got an old model in my head of what labels do, but
We all I have an old model in my head. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on now. Like, where do people go? Um, I think now the online, those like CD Baby or Bandcamp, like those are the record stores, I guess.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a couple. So Madison, Wisconsin, big college town. There's like two CD stores,
Right.
and they're been around forever,
Yeah.
and and they've a little bit of the vinyl resurgence has helped them. But My kids would, and my daughter's 25 and my son's 23, would have no idea where to go to get to buy music other than their phone. None.
That is just I feel so sad because it was such a great part of our growing up, right? We would go and we, discover and part of our identities,
I remember, so new releases always came out on Tuesday.
Right,
Tuesday
right.
was new release day, and
Yeah.
you knew months ahead. People didn't drop a new record. You knew, right? And you'd go, and we would, from Sun Prairie, we'd go into Madison. We'd go to the buddies and I, and then you'd open up that vinyl, and you'd
Mm,
open the gatefold, and I mean, that it was all, and you just lay there on your bed reading the lyrics, and that's, to me, that's the romance of what music was, as opposed to, I like you said, I feel sorry that my kids don't have that, the
yeah.
thumbing through the bins. It was
Mhm.
great.
It
It's good.
was so, so great.
Yeah, I feel like those old people yelling at clouds here, but it's like I really feel sad because it's
You
like
know,
it
mhm.
connected you.
Oh, it to the artist, to the art, and it you valued, the effort of the artist and the musicians. Like, it is such a connection. I do have to say, there's some positive things where, like you said, there's a vinyl resurgence. I'm so heartened. People, really do want to see. Like, I made a gatefold and I put all the there, and it's so wonderful to see people like look at it and spend time with it. I'm like, oh my God, there are people out there that want to do that, and it's really heartening.
Yeah, there are. I know there are plenty of pluses to all of this as well, right? I mean,
Sure.
I can at any moment go, God, what is, and listen
Yes.
to a song that I really like.
Yeah.
The other thing, but again, old man yelling at clouds, you kids get off my lawn. I remember the search through those used bins to
Oh yeah.
find the EP, because there was that one song that I don't
Yeah.
know. It was
No.
the thrill of the hunt. Right?
Yep. Yep. That made it more valuable, I think.
It did, and that stupid piece of vinyl or plastic was everything. So let's morph into, what do you see yourself doing recording wise going forward?
Mm.
Do you have a model that's working for you?
I do. It's starting. And I'm going to go into the studio probably in October. Well, my model now is that I go into the studio, I get recordings, and I might have to crowdsource again in order to afford the vinyl making, because I really like making vinyls. So uh, my whole world is kind of changing and morphing into like it's incorporating all the styles of me from growing up as a classical musician to going into this alternative rock moment where I was really thumbing my nose at the classical me, and it was like I didn't want to have anything to do with it, but some of my songwriting just couldn't help but have little moments of whatever, little nods to classical, but meanwhile thumbing my nose, yeah, I'm a rebel. But now it's like, as you get older, you're like, oh, I love that part of me, and so playing more piano, and so I've got this kind of um, amalgamation, alchemy, whatever, of classical and alternative, quirky, indie, whatever it is. So I'm really enjoying exploring that. I've been playing a lot with string players. I go to each town and I hire string players local. So cool. And so my next album, it's going to be the 30th anniversary of my first debut, Burdens of Being Upright. So I do have a plan to go into the studio in October and re-record the songs in this similar style. And I'm really jazzed and inspired, very excited.
That, as we talk about the benefits of this new model, that's one of those, right?
Mm.
That you can do that stuff, and I know lots of people are doing similar things, and as a fan, for somebody that you cherish their output, having that
Yeah.
is the greatest, and that at least is a substitute for the connection we felt back in the vinyl record store
Yeah.
days of,
Right.
you know, you know why this is important, that so and so's re-recording, or that they've done, and the only version of that you ever got back in the old days was some live album where, because
Yeah.
you couldn't re-release stuff in that way or
Oh,
redo.
you had to wait for them to say yes or no or whatever. Or, oh, it's not the right time. I hated the waiting so much because you make the art and then you want to get it out.
Yeah, you forget about, I am not artistically inclined, but I do a lot of different podcasting, and I'll have people say to me, "Hey, I listened to your podcast," and I'll go, I don't remember, because you kind of get it out, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
it's out, and you move on to the next
Oh,
the
yeah.
next thing. And that's my only brush with it, but I start to get it. I do a silly little podcast with a high school friend of mine, and my daughter listened to it, and she came, "Hey, I listened to the podcast," and I had to say, "Which one? And what did we talk about?" So I get that. I
Yeah.
get the idea of I've recorded this, and now I've got to wait 18 months
Oh,
for
yeah.
you know,
Oh, that's
that would
kind of
suck.
it. I wouldn't say it's the worst, but like you're out there and you're performing these songs that are really old to you, and you know you have a new batch of music you just finished, and yeah.
So let's real quick. We got a couple more minutes before we take our first break. Talk about touring now, because I know you were back home. I saw that on there, and I said Oregon, not Oregon. Um, how often are you able to get out on the road? Do you kind of tour when you feel like it? Do you? Because there's not many big tours left anymore, even for small indie artists. We'll use our reference point, our friend Kay. Cleo goes out and does a Midwest run of 8
Yeah.
dates, and I know they're doing a New York run in October or something. That
Yeah.
seems to be the model now for indie artists, right?
Yeah, I think so. You're right. It's like Cleo does the summer dates and then they do the November or to October, November dates. And it seems to be I annual thing. And I like that. We're all older, we've got kids too. So it's like very important to like have the structure. I'm still trying to figure it out. I was getting back on the road after becoming a mother right before COVID. And then COVID, and so and then I had to go through some stuff during COVID. It was a divorce and cancer and all that fun. Getting back at there again is like going back to square one. But my son's older, so like I can basically choose like short, like 2 week spans. Um, and yeah, we just try to hit the markets that make sense. Hopefully go to Europe soon. I haven't played in Europe in forever. Very excited about it.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to get too personal with this, but I'm going to ask, and you can laugh at me. So,
You
and
can.
now I'm going to name drop. So,
Oh,
recently I was out east and was fortunate to have lunch with Tanya and Gail from Belly, as
right.
well as Hugo Burnham from Gang of Four, who is a new Joey song. And I
Yeah.
was listening to these artists in bands, and they're talking about, wouldn't it be great to tour and not lose money? And I kind of did one of these what kind of
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm hearing it from everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a break. If you break even, it's a good run. Is
There
is
is
that?
yeah, it was funny. I was going through the numbers. I'm afraid to sit down and write it down right now because I just got home like 3 days ago and I was going through the numbers in my head. And there's this avoidant thing. Like, oh, I got a couple $1,000s from that in the bank, whatever. And then I go through the numbers and I'm like, okay, string players, gas, flights. Stayed on I stayed at friends' houses and then my parents' house. So there's no lodging. But I'm looking at it like, okay, I think I lost money. However, thank God for merch, but then I look at that and I still do the expenses and I'm like, all right, I may have made a couple bucks.
And I don't think that's what the casual or even the dedicated music fan realizes.
Right.
And that's the flip from when the label would cover a lot of that, so that you'd sell albums when you came into town. I
Mhm.
it makes me sad.
I know.
Uh,
Blame me.
I will tell you again, for the fan, the one big benefit of it is we'll be back at the merch table afterwards. So you get a chance to at least shake hands and tell so and so your record saved my life, or your music is the soundtrack. I mean, so that's a good thing.
You're right. It's such a beautiful thing and I experienced Wow, exactly that. Somebody saying I saved their life, which is
Right?
like, what?
I can't
Yeah.
imagine what it's like to hear that. That must
Yeah.
be, it's kind of like, okay, maybe sleeping in that Motel 6 last night and pulling ice from the, ice machine outside was worth it. I don't know.
Eh,
But
in a very, yeah, like on a personal level, that is all worth it. And to see the line, and people still waiting an hour later as I'm like signing, finals, it's huge.
yeah, it's got to be that, okay, I'm making a difference. Even if I don't see it, I'm making a difference.
Yeah, it's
That's
really true.
awesome. Great. We are going to, I'm afraid, Tracy, if I don't stop us now, we're going to do about 4 more. We're going to turn this into an 8-part TED Talk. So we're going to take a break, everybody. And when we come back, we will do, not that I don't enjoy this part, but my 2 favorite parts we're going to do are this or that. And then we're going to do over or underrated after that. So stick around, everybody. We will be back with the glorious Tracy Bonham. Hey, everybody, we are back. I've got great news. During the break, Tracy and I solved the touring CD record sales conundrum. There will be an explosion. I feel like Trump when I say this. It'll be the greatest thing you've ever
It'll be
seen.
beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
Big, beautiful record. Yeah, no, I'm not even going to try. All right, so we are going to do this or that. And this is where we go through things, some musical, some not, where we talk to folks and we find out what their preference is. And if you are a regular listener to the Joy Song podcast, you know the first one is always Beatles or Stones. So Tracy Bonham, Beatles or Stones?
Beatles.
Absolutely. And why?
Because like, why do I even have to say why? Melody.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
just melody. How about that?
Yeah. And they were the tip of the spear, not to use business terms, that led to everything. Yeah.
Just
I was, and now you'll have to go back. I recorded my pod with Hugo a couple weeks ago, and Hugo explained why Ringo is so underrated. In the, what did he call it? Not in the gap, in the, I don't know, but there was something about, and I've heard Ringo explain it, because he's left-handed, but plays a right-handed kit. He's always a microsecond behind.
Oh, that's
But
it.
that's
No
what Ringo has said.
wonder.
You know,
That's beautiful.
right?
Because
He's left-handed playing a right-handed kit, so he's always just the pocket. That's what Hugo called it. Ringo's always in the pocket.
of course, and that's exactly. You always want to be like. You don't want to be this. You want
Yeah.
to be laying back. That's
Yep. Yep. And that's the yeah. I have my tribute here behind me to both you can't see it, but the Stones and the Beatles behind me. But I'm a Beatles guy too, so
I see the beauty.
I get it. All right, next one: New York style or Chicago style pizza?
New York.
Yeah, and again, because
Well, I loved Chicago when I was younger because I was all about bread. I love bread. But once I moved to New York and I had the New York, it was kind of like, okay, done. I like the grease and
the fold, and I was
yeah,
I lived
old.
I lived in Chicago after college and before moving back to Wisconsin, and I never latched onto the Chicago thing. I saw Jon Stewart one time say, "It's not a pizza, it's a casserole." So I thought that worked for me
I
too.
mean, it's super yummy and I do love it, but it's just too much bread.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Friends or Seinfeld?
Oh, Seinfeld.
Yeah. God, you and I
Hands,
are alike. Holy moly, this
hands
is
down.
yeah,
I never got into Friends. It's
yeah.
just it's nothing wrong with it, but Seinfeld's got the humor and the sarcasm and the irony, all of that. And
I always like the way that Seinfeld always has 3 storylines and they always merge in the last scene. I
yeah,
always
it's
think
pretty
about
brilliant.
I always think about the whale and the golf ball thing, right? That where Kramer's hitting golf balls in, and George always says he was a marine biologist, and at the very end, it's great. It's brilliant
It
stuff.
it's like the jokes that come back around at the end of the set, right? Like that moment of like, oh my,
That's it.
did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Connect this to that.
Yes.
It's perfect. All right. If you could have a superpower, would you rather be invisible or read minds?
Ooh, 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 ooh. I don't want to read minds. Invisible. I just realized how horrifying that would be. I want to be invisible.
Depending on what line of work you're in, I think being invisible is better. Yes. There may be some where,
Because you also have the benefit if you're invisible and you can be somewhere, you can also just know more than, like the mind reading is one thing, and you can get a lot of information, but you can also get a lot of information by being invisible. And then you have to go into creepy worlds. Ugh. Yeah.
Are you a plan everything in advance or a go with the flow person?
Go with the flow, baby. Yeah. You? Yeah.
I am in some part. I can't with the charity. I got to plan it all out and I'm months
Right.
ahead, but the honeydew list upstairs is this long.
Oh
So
my God,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, that's not even a thing. All right. Last one.
Okay.
If your time travel was a thing, would you rather go to the past or go to the future?
Past.
And where would you go and what time period?
Wow, so many places, but I'd really love to go back to like, you know, just being a fly on the wall, like a Duke Ellington session or something, or like, like being in one of those like swing dance halls or something and just like watching it all happen.
I'd like to go back and stand at the crossroads and see what really happened to Robert Johnson.
Exactly.
That's what I would like to do. I would like to see the devil actually appear.
Right.
So,
And be like, were you real?
okay. Do you know what this is going to all lead to? Do you know what you're doing here? Yeah. So that's great. All right. We are going to take another break. We'll come back with underrated or overrated. And I have a feeling based upon Tracy's answers to this, she and I are going to be in sync on that. So stick around. More with Tracy Bonham right after this. Well, we are back. Bad news, folks. While we were on break, Spotify came to us and did a cease and desist on us breaking up the music consortium. So I'm afraid we're stuck with it for a few more years until Tracy and I can get to the root cause of all this. Sorry about that, Trace.
God.
I know. Oh, well. All right. So now we are going to do the other part that I really love about the podcast, overrated or underrated, where we're going to talk a few things. And Tracy's going to tell us whether she thinks they are overrated or underrated. So the first one, 8 hours of sleep, overrated or underrated?
I mean, at this age, underrated. Wait, underrated. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
underrated.
Like, you need it. Yeah.
How often are you good at getting your 8 hours of sleep?
I'm really good at getting 7 for some reason. But I know, like, after just all the research, but then just living life, like, I know that it's really good to get 8.
Yeah. See, my problem is not the amount of sleep. I have 3 dogs. And
Oh,
so every morning at 6:30, regardless of when I went to bed,
yeah.
they're at the side of the bed going, we usually eat about now.
Yeah, right.
It's time. It's time to eat. And yeah, so I can't win on that.
Right.
Vintage guitars, overrated or underrated? Like I have a 63 less.
Right, right. Well, that's how I cut my teeth. I hung out with so many vintage guitar freaks, and that's all I ever bought at either their bequest or like their, advice to get that, get that, get that. So, I love them. However, they're sometimes quirky. They need a lot of work. So let me think about this. Underrated or overrated? Some people are kind of a little too freaky about it. Oh, that's a hard one to answer because, like, I mean, they're very special, and I guess I would much rather have a vintage. But like when you say overrated or underrated, I'm thinking like the ones that are so obsessed with it. Like I'm like, dude, just chill out. It's just a guitar. So I don't know how to answer that.
All right, well, we'll call it a draw.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's a
pass on
draw.
that one.
They're correctly rated. How's that? We'll say
Okay.
that. They're correctly rated.
Yeah.
High-end coffee.
Ooh.
Again, no judgment.
Okay. I'm not a coffee snob. However, I don't like low end coffee. There's a tricky one. So, but I'm gonna say, don't get your knickers in a twist about high end coffee. Like, don't like it's like just get the medium. So I'm gonna say it's overrated.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. and this is my always end on this one because this is what tells me a lot about everybody. Making your bed every morning. Are you rated or underrated?
I think it's underrated. I love doing it. I think it's important.
Okay, I got to say this now. After doing a bunch of these with musicians, we all think of musicians as flying by this. Everybody says they make their bed in the morning.
Really?
Everybody. I have not had one person. You're my 12th so far in the last month of doing this. I have not. What is it about? Maybe is it the being a nomad that makes that feel like a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I love when I check into a hotel and the bed's all nice and made, and when someone else makes it when I come back. So maybe there's a little bit of that. Also, life is so chaotic in general. And as the day starts, like, especially as a musician, an artist, and there's so much chaos in my brain that I think I'm not meticulous. I'm not OCD. I don't need everything perfect, but I just love to start the day with that. It's like an intentional thing.
Well, you and your musical brethren and sisterin. What is it, brethren? And what would it be? I don't even know.
Let's say sisterin.
Yeah, that's good. All right, we've made up a new word.
Yep.
Copyright Gomoll Bonham 2025. All right, we are going to take one more break, and we will be right back, and we will close up with Tracy Bonham, and we'll take the camera and see if she really did make her bed this morning. So we'll be right back.
That's the funny part is that today it might be different.
We will be right back. Well, this is the sad part where we have to say goodbye to Tracy because, she's got things to do and I've got a honey-do list this long upstairs, as I just told you. So
I got to go make my bed.
as we found out, boy, the internet's going to explode.
Oh, no.
So, Tracy, again, as we started this conversation, you were one of the first people in the community that said yes to my little request. And I think it's very appropriate that you're joining us for the first time this January at Joey Song. Talk a little bit about, I know Kay and I twisted your arm, so you really didn't have a choice, but what are your thoughts about joining us in January?
Oh, well, okay. So when I met you and then, no, I mean, in person, because
Yeah.
And when I started to get on the email thread and I started to see everyone who's involved in this, whether it's Butch Vig or Freddie Jones, Anya or Gail or Hey, all of these people and just the community of it, those emails going back and forth and the support and the cheerleading. And then, and then I was about to come for last year and then I couldn't just because of doctors and health and stuff like that. The overwhelming support and love from everyone, it just made me realize like, wow, okay, I've got to do it the following year, which would be this one. And I really I want that feeling. I want to be on stage with these people, but I also want to, just kind of just be in this environment where, because artists, we all need this as people, as human beings, we need our village. We need our community more than ever. And so that's really the biggest thing is that I want to be in this community.
It's by pure happenstance. I can take no credit for it, but it is such a stellar group of folks. And for most people to come to Madison, Wisconsin in January for free, for a ham sandwich and a couple beers, most of the people that are going to say yes to that already have their karmic needle pointed in the right direction. And it is such a great group of people. And we're so excited to have you join. I will warn you, we are like the Corleone family.
I know once you're in, I can tell.
We never let you back out. But that,
Yeah,
as the producer of the show, it's a great problem that I have. It's everybody keeps coming back, and we keep finding new ways to do it. And you're right. There's the talent level. Every year I try to sit down and tally up the Grammy awards and platinum records, and it's impossible. I mean, almost everybody on that list has had some significant achievement. It's a great group of folks. You will have a blast. I guarantee it. So
I know I will. And some of my favorite people live in Madison, and I love the town of Madison. So I'm very excited.
Well, Tracy Bonham, thank you for joining and being a part of the family. And we will see you in a few months at Joey Song.
Right on. Can't wait.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Hey, thanks for sticking around all the way to the end of the podcast. A quick reminder, if you can give us a follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast provider and write a short review, it will really help us out. If you can head over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel over there, that's another big help. These simple acts make it easier for others to find us. And of course, head over to joeysong.org to join our community and stay up to date on all the news. Thanks, and we'll talk again real soon.
Learn more about Joey Song by visiting joeysong.org. The theme music was composed by Sam Gomoll, and Joey Song is a federally registered 501c3 charity. Thanks for listening.